Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to show you how to install Visual Basic 2010 Express. I am aware that it's the year 2013 and I'm using an outdated version, but this is what I use for my tutorials, so I figure I should go through the steps at some point. So anyways, if I want to find this, it's a free download available through Microsoft, and I'm just going to find it through a Google search. And so I'm going to search Visual Basic 2010 Express. That's a good way to get there. And so the first link that comes up is right here. You can notice it's Microsoft's site. That kicks me over to this page, the Visual Studio Home. And so I am going to download 2010. They're going to encourage me to get 2012, but I don't. That's not what I'm looking for. I need to click on See Download Details. And up here is all the 2012 products, which is a very similar process. I'm going 2010 because, like I said, that's what I've been using. And you'll notice they make products for C++, C#. We're going to get the one for Visual Basic. So I'm going to click on that. Scroll down a bit. I'm going to select my language. Make your choice. I'm going with English. I'm going to click on Install Now, and this is just going to kick me over to an installer. I select Save. And this heads over to my downloads, right? My downloads folder. I've got it sorted by date modified. And so here's VB_web. I'm going to double click on this file. I need some permission. This doesn't take that long, or at least it shouldn't. If it does, I'll fast forward the video, but I don't think so. Alright, so I've now sat through that dialog box. It took me it took about 30 seconds. And so I can choose to send information or not. Next. I have already read the terms of the agreement. You should read the terms as well. I click Next. Now I ask the question, do I want to insert MySQL Server 2008? Make your decision about whether you do or you don't. I'm not going to in this instance, and I'm going to install. I had a choice to choose something other than the default directory, but I didn't. No different than installing any other program. And at this point, this is where it's going to take a couple minutes, and so I will be back. Well, I'm just going to sit here, but I'll start talking in a little bit. Alright, and it looks like we are done. I tend to display a timer on the screen, and that took about 2.5 minutes, which isn't that long, and says everything went successfully. So I'm going to make sure that everything works as it should. So I'm head in here, let's go All Programs. And you can see Visual Studio 2010 Express sitting right here. And you can see I've already got some other things installed as well. C++, C#. Here's Visual Basic. So Express in this case does mean free. There's a pay version, but if you're watching this video, probably the Express version is going to be sufficient for you. And it does take, it's not unusual at all for it to take up to probably a minute to load. It's not one of those really quick things. And I uninstalled it right before I did this video. You can see my recent projects are still in there, and in a future video I'll show you how to create a new project. Now at that one point it asked me where I wanted to install this. I installed it it depends where you put yours. I'm using a network drive, so mine is in Documents, I believe, Visual Studio 2010, and my project files all by default end up in this folder called Projects. So depending on where you installed your program, you're going to have Visual Studio 2010 folder somewhere, And inside of that, you're going to have something called projects, and this is where all of those projects that you create get saved by default, which is important because you need to know where things are. Of course, there's always ways to retrieve things, but in the interest of keeping this video short and sweet, I'm not going to talk about that. One thing that is certainly worth talking about is this is a free program, but essentially it's going to expire on you in 30 days or so. And all that they need from you is I think you're gonna get an email. Actually, it'll just be locked, and it'll say you need to register it. And I believe you click on a link, and all they want is a valid email address, and then they'll email a valid registration code to you. So while it seems like it expires, it kind of does, but they're not trying to take any money from you. This is not really a 30-day trial. You just have to give them a valid email address, and they'll email you the code, and you input the code, and then you're going to be good for the rest of your time using the software. So I hope this works for you, and enjoy some of my tutorials. Thanks for watching.